Good evening, everybody. I think we'll get our evening started now. My name is Carly Hunter, and I am the Director of Instruction for Saanich Schools for Curriculum and Innovation, and I will be your host for this evening. Welcome to your first experience with Saanich Schools. There are many important parts of our lives, and the start of kindergarten is one of them. And the next 13 years, we are very, very proud and excited to host your children in their journey. It'll be a quick one, but a wonderful one, and we're looking forward to being part of your child's formal education. It's important to remember that as the parent or guardian, you're the child's first and most important teacher. So it is important that you remain a key partner with us, and we are so looking forward to working with you over the next few years. 13 to be exact. So the next while will be about half an hour of information, and then we will stay on the line until 8 for questions and answers. We would like to let you know at this time that this information session is being recorded and will be posted on the district website, so you will be able to refer back to it, but the information will be recorded, including your questions and answers. We'd like to start this evening by acknowledging and honor the territory culture of the Tsimshian language and the WSÁNEĆ Nation and the four communities of Pakwachin, Sartlip, Saikum, and Sayot, on whose traditional territory we live, learn, work, and teach, and are very grateful to do so. The WSÁNEĆ people have lived and worked on this land since time immemorial. The plan for the evening. We have two main intentions for this evening. The first is to familiarize families with opportunities within the kindergarten program in Saanich schools and support parents in understanding, which is always the most important part or the most interesting part for you, is the registration process for both our English and French immersion programs. Our agenda will be an introduction to the kindergarten program and information about the registration process, and then you get to hear from some of our amazing school staff about our early learning philosophy, as well as what a day in the life of a kindergarten class is. And that's always a highlight of this evening. Throughout the evening, we will be running a Q&A. And if you look above, you will see that there is a Q&A, and you can ask any questions that you would like on that Q&A. And we have school staff ready and prepared to answer your questions. So please feel free to ask any questions you'd like. Please keep in mind, again, the privacy. So general questions about registration and philosophy are welcome. Any specific questions regarding your child are probably better asked directly to the school. Over the next 20 minutes, those questions will be up and for everyone to see, and please don't hesitate to ask, because sometimes the question you have is a question that other people might have, and it's very helpful. So beginnings. As we said, kindergarten is your child's first formal experience with public education. We are here to support you and your child in making this transition a positive one. And as a result, we have several opportunities to help ease your child's transition into kindergarten, starting on April 16th with our Ready, Set, Learn event from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Sayot First Nation. You will find there community agencies, kindergarten teachers, and tons of fun activities for the entire family. It's a great opportunity to meet school staff and support staff and get to know a little bit about the district and about your child's experience there. So please do join us at the Sayot First Nation, April 16th from 4:30 to 6:30. Once you have registered at your school, they will be in touch with you regarding a kindergarten orientation, and that will happen in May and June. Something very important to keep in mind around the kindergarten orientation is to ensure that you give very, very accurate information about how to contact you on your child's registration form, including an email address that you check regularly, because that is how the school will communicate with you about important events such as kindergarten orientation. Also, please keep in mind our amazing Strong Start program. We have drop-in programs from January until June at Lochside, Brentwood, and Sydney Elementary Schools. We believe our Strong Start program is one of the best in the province, and we encourage you to check it out. Our Strong Start leaders are online with us tonight listening to this event, and they're wonderful resources who will also be available in some of your children's kindergarten classes in the fall. The other thing that we wanted to tell you about in terms of beginning your child's transition into elementary school is our gradual entry program. For the first 5 days in September, your children will be part of a gradual entry where they will be attending only part days. The purpose of this is to allow teachers time to build relationships with students, parents, and guardians in small groups and to support students in slowly acclimating to their new school community. They're also learning what is developmentally appropriate for your child and how to best support their transition. This is a critical time for us for ensuring your child has a wonderful transition into kindergarten. So a little bit about our district, and please use that Q&A as it's coming up. And please check it as we go along because there'll be lots of good information there, and we'll stay online, as I said, much after the formal presentation to answer those questions. So a little bit about Saanich. You will hear, as you start to get used to being a parent in Saanich, us referring to the zones. So we have 3 zones in Saanich. The North Zone, which consists of Qualset, Sydney, Deep Cove for elementary schools, so K to 5. But then when your children go to grade 6 to 8, if you're in any of these schools, with one exception, which I'll get to shortly, they will go to North Saanich and to Parkland. We also have what we refer to as the Central Zone, and those elementary schools are Brentwood Elementary and Keating Elementary. From kindergarten to grade 5, grade 6 to 8 for those students is at Bayside Middle School, and grade 9 to 12 is at Stelly Secondary School. In the South Zone, we have Cordova Bay Elementary, Lochside Elementary, and Prospect Elementary, Royal Oak Middle School, and Claremont Secondary School. We also are very grateful to have 2 other opportunities for your children through South Island Distance Education. If your family would prefer a home learning program, that's a world-renowned school which supports students in home learning from kindergarten all the way through to grade 12. We also have an alternative learning school that supports many career programs and other alternative programs called the Independent Learning Center. If your family chooses French immersion, we have 2 schools for those students. So students who live in the North Zone, so are in catchment for Qualset, Sydney, or Deep Cove, those students will attend Deep Cove. And for French immersion, Deep Cove is considered to be the catchment area school for all North Zone students. So whether you live in the Qualset catchment, the Sydney catchment, or the Deep Cove catchment, you're considered French immersion catchment for Deep Cove. If you live or reside in the catchment zones for the Central or the South zones, so that would be Brentwood, Keating, Cordova Bay, Lochside, or Prospect Lake, your catchment area French immersion school is Keating. So that's all children who live in the catchments for Brentwood, Keating, Cordova Bay, Lochside, or Prospect Lake. Your French immersion catchment would be Keating Elementary. Now, that's probably a lot of information. Please know that our Saanich School District website, which I think will be posted shortly on the Q&A, gives you all of that information and you can look over it at your own leisure. So key elements of our Saanich Schools. Saanich Schools considers ourselves to have one of the best early learning programs in the province, and some of the reasons why are the following. The most important piece are our passionate and skilled kindergarten teachers who absolutely love working with children and who are innovative and creative and do wonderful things every day. And what I most admire about our kindergarten teachers is the joy that they bring into the classroom. Some of the other pieces that they focus on is diversity and inclusion. We support all students and families. We specifically support students with unique needs and English language learners with many additional staff and supports. We are also very focused. One of our core values is infusing Indigenous content throughout the curriculum, as we do live here on the territory of the WSÁNEĆ people. So building an understanding and respect towards reconciliation is a part of every aspect of our curriculum, from the moment children walk into kindergarten to the moment that they leave grade 12. A major focus for us is to try to offer as much as possible Tsimshian language exposure to students throughout their schooling, as well as many cultural teachings that we're lucky enough to learn from the local WSÁNEĆ community. We also are proud to offer language programs. In addition to Sinchothan, we offer core French from kindergarten until grade 5 and an optional French immersion program. Additional school supports include speech and language, counseling, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, as well as English language support. Again, lots of opportunities to ask questions. I always say that if you have a specific question about your child in any of these supports, the best place to start is with your child's local school. The schools love to hear from and get to know parents, and they're always happy to help you. Do not hesitate to reach out and offer that connection to your child's local elementary school, and make sure that you make that connection and start sharing with them information about your child. The more we know, the more we can communicate, and the better we're able to help support your child. So getting started, registration. So registration for all children born in 2020, which I have to tell you, I had to take a moment when I heard children born in 2020 are starting kindergarten this year. It made me feel quite old. They are eligible to register, and you will register at your neighborhood catchment area school. Even if you would like to have your child attend a school that is not their catchment area school, you still register at your local school, and there'll be more on that later. So if you are interested, and this is optional, in being part of our French immersion lottery, the dates are January 14th from 3:30 to 5:30, January 15th from 12:30 to 2:30, and January 16th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. And that registration can occur at Deep Cove if you live in the North Zone, or Keating if you live in the South and Central Zone. If you do not reside in district, then you can register at either of those locations as an out-of-district student. Now, do you need to line up for the first registration at 3:30 on January 14th to increase your chances? Absolutely not. All registrations received in any of those time periods will be included in the lottery. There is no advantage to coming at 3:30 on January 14th or 9:30 on January 16th. Everybody will be put into the lottery in the priority order that their applications have been received, which is siblings of students currently in school, in catchment students, out of catchment students, and out of district students. So please just come any of those times and make sure that you have all of the documentation that you need ready and with you. All of that information will be also posted in the Q&A, so you can look, or you can go to the school district website where you can find all of the information that you need for the documents. English registrations, that's for anyone who is not interested in French immersion, so the vast majority of you, will begin on January 28th at 3:30. January 29th at 12:30, and January 30th at 7:30. Again, no need to line up and be the first one there at 3:30 on January 28th. Any of those time periods within that first week, as long as you register within that time frame, that is wonderful. You do not need to rush. And please, again, register at your catchment area school. If you're requesting an out of catchment a placement, then you just need to fill that form out, and they will transfer it to the school that you're requesting. Again, any questions, please feel free to ask. So again, these documents will be placed in the Q&A, but to register at your neighborhood school, please bring a completed registration form, original supporting documentation, and we would love it, very much appreciate if you could also bring us copies of that documentation so that we could keep those. That saves oodles of time for clerical staff having to run from your registration to the photocopier to photocopy your original documents. So if you could bring us copies of those documents, we would be ever so appreciative. If you can't, that's okay. We're happy to copy them for you, but it sure streamlines that process when you can bring copies of those original documents along with you. And a list of the acceptable documents can be found on the registration page. I know this is a lot of information. Please note that this session will be recorded, and all of this information is also available on our school district website. For further information on the French Immersion Lottery, there is a kindergarten registration page and a French immersion lottery information page with a Q&A that will answer many questions that you have. So I know a lot of information all at once, but this is just really your initial contact, and then you have lots of time to further look at the documents and get yourself ready for whichever date you've chosen. So that is registration. And I know that our staff are hard at work answering the Q&A, so we'll continue to put more information on there. And again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your catchment area school or the school that you're applying to for out-of-district students, or myself. We're happy to help. So take a bit of a breath there with all that registration information, and we will tell you a little bit more about our amazing school district staff and some of the things that are available for you. So we have in Saanich staff members that support students who are deaf and hard of hearing, who are English language learners. We have elementary counselors who support students with social emotional learning and mental health support. We have a French coordinator who helps support French immersion and French as a second language programs. An Indigenous family advocate, speech and language pathologists, our Strong Start educators, who I spoke about earlier, student advocates that work alongside families and students when students are struggling to ensure that they get back into school and are doing very well as vision support. So those are some, it's not a complete list of some of the district staff that we have available to us. We also value our community partners. And again, this is always a risk when we put community partners up here because we have so many that we may have left someone off the list. But here's some of our key community partners. Beacon Community Services. We're very, very, very appreciative of the work that Beacon Community Services does to support students and families on the peninsula, and we work alongside them very closely. Canadian Parents for French. The Confederation of Parent Advisory Councils, or what is known as COPACs, a great thing for U.S. parents to attend as you're starting to get to know the district. COPACs, which is a group of parents from all throughout the district who represent different PACs, come together once a month at the Saanich Learning Center and talk about important topics for students. And they're always looking for new parents to get involved. So don't hesitate to reach out to COPACs. They have a Facebook site, and the parents there are very responsive. So it's a great first contact that you can make. We also work alongside Orca Dental Support through Sydney Elementary School. The Vancouver Island Counseling Center for Immigrants and Refugees is a close partner supporting our newcomer families alongside the schools in the best way possible, as well as the Victoria Immigrant Refugee Center Society and the Victoria Intercultural Association, which is also known as SWIS. Another partner is VHA, or Vancouver Island Health Authority, and that's where our occupational therapists, physical therapists, and other paraprofessionals work alongside us to support students. And a big focus for VHA is kindergarten students who are incoming into the schools and supporting them. And of course, our partnership with the WSÁNEĆ Nation, who we work closely with to support students and to infuse Indigenous content throughout the curriculum. So one last slide from me, and then you get to hear from the exciting people who will tell you a little bit more about what a day in the life of a kindergarten class is around the Saanich strategic plan. So we are in year 3 of 5, and we went through in Saanich a pretty intensive process of speaking to community members, to families, to students, and to staff on what our most important focuses are. So this is a little bit about our Saanich growth plan, the things that we're working on and that we really value here, and some of the things that you'll see being worked on and focused on in every school throughout the district. And some of these things are student literacy, to improve student literacy across the curriculum. And we have a particular focus on early learning and helping students get that early literacy support that they need so that they can be successful all the way through to grade 12. So that's a big focus. Indigenous learner success, to engage in practices that support culturally responsive and barrier-free learning environments for Indigenous students, is critically important to us in Saanich. Mental health and wellness, to promote mental health and well-being through social emotional learning and trauma-informed practice, is another key value and key focus. as well as global citizenship, to provide opportunities and experiences that inspire learners to be knowledgeable, curious, and active global citizens who support the well-being of oneself, family, community, and environment. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jenny Erickson and Tegan Vide. Jenny and Tegan are our early learning teacher leaders. They lead early learning throughout Saanich, and they're going to share a little bit with you about some of the guiding documents for early learning in Saanich. So thank you, Jenny, and Tegan, take it away.
Thanks, Carly. So in Saanich schools, the Early Learning Framework, the First People's Principle of Learning, and the BC Curriculum and Core Competencies Guide, planning for and engagement with our kindergarten students. One important component of these guiding documents at the kindergarten level is play-based learning. You can go to the next slide, Carly. So play is not just a break from learning, it's when the most meaningful learning occurs. Play-based learning places play at the heart of the educational experience, recognizing its power to foster growth. In Saanich, we understand that children learn best when they are actively engaged in exploring their world in ways that are both meaningful and enjoyable. Play-based learning in kindergarten takes many forms. It could involve learning through songs and poems, games and puzzles, and hands-on experiments. A play-based approach is both child-initiated and teacher-supported. The teacher's role is to guide and encourage learning through interactions that challenge children to think critically, expand their ideas, and deepen their understanding. Through play, children exercise their imaginations, take risks, and develop problem-solving skills. Collaborative play enhances language development and fosters social-emotional growth as children learn to share, cooperate, and understand others' perspectives.
Thanks, Tegan. I'm going to speak a little bit to the BC Early Learning Framework. The Early Learning Framework provides a roadmap for educators and parents to engage with young children in ways that are meaningful, responsive, and reflective of the values, cultures, and diversity within our local community. This framework views children as capable, competent, and full of potential. It recognizes that today's classrooms are dynamic and diverse, shaped by a rich variety of cultures, languages, abilities, and interests. The Early Learning Framework inspires educators to create inclusive and nurturing environments where each child is valued for their unique strengths and contributions. Learning happens through relationship with others and the environment in ways that are playful and based on curiosity and inquiry. These kindergarten environments help to support the development of communication skills, thinking skills, and personal and social skills, the key competencies that are outlined in the BC curriculum. These competencies are essential for future success, helping children build the foundation to be strong and capable lifelong learners. In Saanich, our teachers are committed to integrating Indigenous perspectives, knowledge, and ways of being across all areas of learning, and engage in ongoing professional development to deepen their understanding of Indigenous history and culture. Teachers continue to work towards embedding Indigenous knowledge into everyday classroom experiences, such as through sharing local stories and artwork, opportunities to learn on and from the land, learning about the Wasanich 13 Moons calendar, and opportunities to engage with the First Peoples map of Canada, as seen in this picture. We are deeply grateful to the local Wasanich community for sharing the gift of the Sanchothan language with us. In Saanich, we are fortunate to have a strong and resourceful Indigenous education department that is committed to supporting our teachers with resources and professional learning. In many Saanich schools, you will see key spaces labeled in Sanchothan and hear teachers using the language in the classroom in authentic ways. These lessons help children connect to the history, culture, and traditions of the land they live on, while fostering meaningful connections to the rich Indigenous heritage of our community. We will now have Mark Najelski and Sarah Dunn join us. They are two of our wonderful kindergarten teachers, and they will give us a glimpse into a typical day in a kindergarten classroom.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by taking a chance to thank everyone for joining us this evening. A usual kindergarten day is a very busy day filled with many different activities. All of our kindergarten classes within the Saanich School District will be working towards meeting the same learning and social emotional goals. However, our daily schedules and the activities that we will do will vary slightly from class to class within the district. A typical Friday in my classroom often will run like this. At the start of the morning, welcome the students into the classroom, and they will start to complete their 5-finger check or morning routine independently. Their 5-finger check consists of hanging up their backpacks and coats on their hooks, taking out their water bottles and lunch kits and putting them on the shelves, checking for any notices in their backpacks, switching into their inside shoes, and then signing in to start the day. Friday mornings are a special time in our classroom because once our students have finished their 5-finger checks, we'll invite all the family members, moms, dads, little brothers, sisters, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever came for drop-off, to come in and join us for some family reading in the morning. The students really love having this time and a chance to spend with their families in the classroom reading. One of my favorite things to see during this time is watching family members invite students who don't have an adult with them, for whatever reason, to come and join them for some story time. After about 20 minutes, we'll thank our family members for joining us, and we'll say a quick goodbye before meeting at the carpet to start our morning meeting. During our morning meeting, we'll read our morning message, we'll check in with students to see how they're doing, we'll read a poem or practice some songs, we'll do a math number talk where the students will make observations and share their ideas about numbers. After our morning meeting, we'll move on to our table explorations. The table explorations are a series of literacy and numeracy activities that are set up for the students at different tables, which they'll rotate through. Some of the different skills the students are working on could include number identification, letter sound matching, letter formation, patterning, sorting, identifying rhyming words, or building simple words. After our table explorations, we'll clean up, we'll go down to the bathroom and wash our hands to get ready for snack. After snack, we'll get ready to go outside to our Beyond the Fence area on Fridays. The Beyond the Fence area is a wonderful nature space that we have where the students can engage and learn while interacting with the natural environment. We'll often do a learning activity like a number hunt or a nature drawing before we move on to some exploration time. During our exploration time, the students will get a chance to explore this wonderful space. They might play an imaginary game, they might dig for treasure, they might build a fort, they might work in our mud kitchen to prepare some delicious food, cakes, brownies, teas. They're always fantastic. After our Beyond the Fence time, we'll transition to our outdoor recess where the students can play at the playground, the swings, our orange climber, at the field, or our very popular rocks area. And then after recess, the students will come in and get inside and get ready for their lunch. After lunch, we have our book time, which is a nice quiet time for the students to read and view books independently or with a partner for a few minutes. We put on some quiet, relaxing music to help the students to refocus and settle for our afternoon activities. After our book time is probably the most important part of our kindergarten day, which is choice time. Choice time is an unstructured exploration time where the students can choose from a variety of activities. We have things like Lego, Marble Works, magnets, Hot Wheels, big trucks, art supplies, trains, dollhouse, Play-Doh, and our Dramatic Play Center, which we have currently set up as a vet center for the students to explore at. Every month, I like to switch up the toys that the students get to choose from in order to keep things fresh and switch up the play. Maybe they'll find a new friend to play with that they haven't played with before. Choice time is an amazing time of the day where the students are often working together and playing. This provides them an opportunity to work on developing those all-important social skills such as sharing, turn-taking, problem-solving. After we clean up for our choice time, the students will get ready to head outside for our afternoon recess. After our recess time, we'll come inside and we'll do our pack and stack to get ready for home time before coming to the carpet to settle for the last part of the day. On Friday afternoons after recess, we're very lucky because our big buddies will come down to join us for the last part of the day. Our big buddies are one of the grade 3 classes that we have in the school. The students love to connect with their big buddies and will often have a fun activity planned for them to do with their buddy, like an art project, a math game, or a science craft. After our big buddies leave, the last thing I like to do every day before home time is to read a story with the class. The students always look forward to our story time at the end of the day, as it's a nice way, nice calm way to settle and bring our day to a close. The students will always remind me that we need to have our story time, even if there's only 3 minutes left in the day. After story time, the students will get ready for home time and we'll dismiss them from our classroom door to our waiting parents and caregivers. This is just a snapshot of what a typical day of kindergarten might look like. Mixed in within a typical week, we have many other activities as well, like story workshop, gym, music, French, library book exchange, art activities, show and tell, science experiments, social studies explorations, and a range of literacy and numeracy activities. I'd just like to say thank you once again. It's a pleasure to join you for the evening.
Thank you very much. Sarah, would you like to speak about a day in the life of a French immersion class?
Yes, I would. Good
Thank you.
evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Dunn. The children call me Madame Sarah. So as Mark said, all kindergarten teachers have similar days in our district. In kindergarten, every day is filled with opportunities for children to explore, create, and learn. It's a place where they can develop their skills, build friendships, and discover the joy of learning. So first, I'd like to share a bit about French immersion in kindergarten, and then I'll share what a typical day looks like in my class. French immersion students follow the regular English curriculum, both in structure and content, while receiving much of their instruction in French. While I try to speak mostly in French during the day, there is some English spoken at the beginning of the school year to establish routines and rules, talk about safety issues, and social skills. Now, while every teacher is different and has different preferred teaching styles, I often like to use the sandwich method when I teach French. So I say a word in French, and then English, and then French to teach new words. I also use gestures to teach vocabulary, directions, and concepts. I ask my students to speak a lot, and by this time of the year, students understand most of what I say and can speak many words and phrases in French. Now I'll share what a typical day in my classroom looks like. Our day begins with the arrival of eager children excited to start the day. We often start with a morning meeting and a song to practice greetings. The students are learning how to ask and answer simple questions in French, and they learn how to express how they are feeling. These activities help build a sense of community and sets a positive tone for the day. We then read over our visual schedule and share about the activities happening throughout the day. We start our day with morning work. This can be a variety of activities, such as literacy centers, making a birthday book for a friend, or playing a math game. Right now, we're working on winter vocabulary in French, so the children are doing activities like creating a winter word bingo to reinforce French words we have been learning. After morning work, we will come back to the carpet for calendar time, where we learn about the days of the week, sing songs, and count the days we've been in school. I think today is 75. We also sing movement songs and practice patterning. Next is snack, and then we head outside for some playtime on the playground. We love to play basketball, soccer, or play on the outdoor equipment. Next, we will head into the gym. We are enjoying getting together with our primary buddy class to play games and learn new skills. Right now, we are learning about basketball. After gym, we do a variety of activities until recess, such as math, art, science, social stories, language activities, or visit the library. We also love to take learning outside for nature walks. We invite families to join us for the walk, and we are very lucky to have a neighbor who has invited us to visit their forest property. We enjoy exploring their play spaces, making nature art, and even meeting their horses. The afternoon is a time when we have free choice play in our classroom. We have similar play areas to Mark, and on Friday afternoons, they are very special too because our grade 4-5 big buddies come to read to the students and often stay to play. As our day comes to a close, we gather for a story and circle sharing. Children share what they enjoy most about their day and what they learned. Then we pack up and head out the door. So that's a glimpse of a typical day in kindergarten. Thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, Mark and Sarah. Mark and Sarah are just two of our many talented, committed, and caring kindergarten teachers, many of whom I can see have joined us online this evening on their own time. So thank you very much for that wonderful description of what a day in the life of a kindergarten class is. At this point, I'd like to introduce Mary Lynn Heron. Mary Lynn is a long-term principal in Saanich, and she's going to speak a little bit about how we can support students from now until September. Mary Lynn, thank you very much.
Thanks, Carly, and thank you to our kindergarten teachers who are the rock stars of the district. Thanks, Tegan, and thanks, Jenny, for all your great information too. Parents, you are your child's first teacher, and Saanich staff, Haishka, thank you to you, and thank you to your incredible commitment to being our partners in your child's learning journey. You've heard a lot from two of our, both Sarah and Mark, with regards to a kindergarten day, and it's jam-packed, as you heard. In that day, there's lots and lots of transitions. So how can you help your kiddos get ready for kindergarten? Essentially, you know, the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, we do all of that. We got it covered. We teach that. And from now until September, we really encourage you to support your child and being able to make all of those transitions as 4 and 5-year-olds in a classroom of 20 students, a maximum of 20. How do you help them with making as many of those transitions from activity to activity, from inside to outside, to bathrooms, et cetera, in the most successful way possible? And I know our kindergarten teachers would say helping them learn how to either tie shoes or have Velcroed shoes. How do I get that lunch kit open? How do I get my jacket on and zipped up, and maybe my rain gear on so I can get outside super quick, because we are very excited to do all of the fun stuff that happened outside and all of the wonderful play that Tegan was talking about. Play-based learning is critical, and kids are anxious and excited to get to it. And if it's difficult for them to manage transitions because the bathroom's a hard piece for them, check out public washrooms and make sure if you're visiting your local Strong Start or schools that you give your child an opportunity to use a public washroom, because many of our students, especially some of our boys, if they haven't seen a urinal before, that's a new one. And we also do have automatic flush toilets, which can be tricky as well. So as your child's first teacher, teaching them all of those wonderful skills, such as hand washing, which will certainly help them with germs and less colds coming home, dressing, bathroom, eating, all of those pieces. I know that the team, we would be remiss if we didn't highlight the fact that although I said ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, we do all of that. What we do, parents, as our partners, we would really love if you could read with your child every day. And I know that what we would say to you is that if you can foster a joy in reading, you've set your child up for some really great, a great learning journey in Saanich schools, and from kindergarten straight through to grade 12. I see that one of the pieces too that we have on our screen is acknowledging all feelings. And that's one of the things that our kindergarten teachers and our staff do such a brilliant job of. Every child's experience your child's unique. And when they come to kindergarten, we know that every child that walks through the door will have a different experience. And we just want you to know that we look forward to collaborating with you to support however your child enters the school, and reach out early and often to the teachers. Thank you. And we look forward to meeting your beautiful little bunnies.
Thank you very much, Mary Lynn. Very appreciated. And we really, truly do look forward to meeting your children and connecting with them. We are almost at the end of our formal presentation. That's enough of talking at you, but just a couple of quick things before we get to the final piece. If you are interested in learning more about the school district, the first place that you will always want to go is to your catchment school website. So if you go to the Saanich Schools website, you can get to each of the individual school websites from there, or you can just simply Google the school that your child will be attending and check it out. Check out the website, check out a little bit about what's happening in the school. Don't be afraid to reach out directly to the school and ask any questions that you might have about your child or about processes. We're always more than happy to help. There's a genuine feeling from our staff, as Mary Lynn so beautifully put, of getting to know your family and your child in as meaningful and genuine way as possible. So please do feel free to reach out. We will also reach out to you with whatever email that we have on file. Now, just a little note, but an important one. If you have an older child already in the school district, it's really important that when you register, you use the same email, because what we will do is we will sync that all together and you will continue to get emails as a family versus two separate emails, which can cause some confusion. So as you're thinking about making connections, please look at the Saanich Schools website as well as the individual school websites. Also available to you, and these will be put in the chat and are available on the recorded session, are some other key websites or links that are helpful to look at. The first is the British Columbia Early Learning Framework, which thank you to Jenny and Tegan for speaking so beautifully to, as well as the First People's Principles of Learning, the kindergarten curriculum. So some of the pieces that the kindergarten teachers cover, although as Mary Lynn said, the kindergarten teachers are the backbone of our school district. They're the heart and soul of our district, and they do so much more than is in the curriculum every day. And then when I go to kindergarten, an introduction to the early learning framework, as well as some ministry education resources around transitioning into kindergarten. So those are probably some of our most recommended and valuable sites for you to check into as you start to think about getting excited for your child and probably a little bit nervous. I remember as a parent myself being quite nervous when I first entered kindergarten, but Saanich Schools is a joyful and wonderful place to be. Before we go to the official end of the evening, and we'll stay online to answer any questions you have, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a registration clarification around the difference between out of catchment and out of district. So we have a number of terms that sometimes as educators, we get very familiar with and we toss them around a little bit and we forget that they're educator terms and they don't make sense to everybody. So I'm just going to go through what all of that means. So your in-catchment school is the school that supports the neighborhood in which you live. So your in-catchment school can be easily figured out through the website, or you can phone us and we can help you. I've put my information, my email into the Q&A as well, so you can contact me directly. And that is the school that most children, we call it the neighborhood school, is the school that most children go to. In-catchment schools for English are the school you live in. In-catchment schools for French immersion are Deep Cove if you live in the North Zone and are part of the Sydney and Deep Cove and Qualset areas, or for everybody else, it is Keating. Out of catchment means that you live within the district boundaries. So you either live in the Central Zone, the North Zone, or the South Zone, but you would like to go to a school that is in a different area. So you're putting in an out of catchment request. And so you get a second priority after those students who live in catchment. Out of district means that you live outside of the district boundaries completely. You live maybe in Victoria or in Souk or in another municipality. And so you're considered to be an out of district applicant. And those applications, we can often accommodate them. We always do try our best to include as many children as possible, but they are looked at after the in catchment, out of catchment, and then out of district in that order. And again, all of these things are available in the Q&A and on our website, or you're welcome to contact me with any questions that you might have. So I hope that clarifies that question, and my apologies for throwing around these terms. So I hope that that helps. Thank you very, very much for giving us your time and allowing us to spend this 50 minutes with you. And we're looking forward to this being the beginning of a beautiful journey full of learning, growth, some tears, but most often joy. We're very much looking forward to it, and this will be the end of the formal evening. I know many of you probably have little ones to put to bed, but if you would like to stay on and use the Q&A to have any questions answered, a number of us are committed to staying on until all questions are answered. Thank you very much. Heichka, merci, and have a wonderful evening, and we are very much looking forward to getting to know you. Thank you.